Our next presenter is Mr. Steve Chapman. Steve has always had a passion for maps, stemming from his lifelong active participation in outdoor sports such as hiking, mountaineering, kayaking, skiing, and trail running. Originally coming from an engineering background, he now focuses full-time on creating beautiful-looking maps for a variety of different clients. Steve is also a member of Coquitlam Search and Rescue, where he not only takes part in the rescues, but is also actively updating the team's mapping infrastructure. Please welcome Steve Chapman.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming along. My name's Steve Chapman, as the introduction goes. I'm a map maker. Been doing this for a few years now. And what I'm going to do this evening is take on a little journey through the Tri-Cities. To do my maps, I have to run the trails and get the GPS data, and there's a few interesting places out there. I wasn't always a map maker. I was an engineer once, and when I gave up work to go to entrepreneurship, I invented a product and went on to Dragon's Den there. Lost a bit of weight since then, doing all the trail running, and that's obviously good for me. So collecting map data is basically a case of going out, GPS, covering the same terrain time and time again, and then trying to work out where all the trails are. So there's a lot of tangled trails and a lot of places to sort out where the trails really are. This is up on the DS Vistas route. As you can see, there's a lot of things to trip you up. So when you're running, you have to be a little bit careful as to where you're treading and to where you're going. That trail straight ahead leads up to an old decommissioned trail and very difficult terrain. I wouldn't be sensible going out on my own, so I had some help from a number of people. This guy's Vic. He started trail running with me, and believe it or not, he's in his mid-70s, and I thought I could keep putting him off by difficult terrain, but he just kept on going. This is another guy, Tom. He's an ultra runner. He's done lots of races around the world, some of the toughest, and he's been a great companion and tipped me off on some places to go, but even then we were able to find some corners which nobody probably knew about until ourselves. This trail, believe it or not, this is a trail, is up a place called White Rock, and as you can see, our environment here, the wind, the rain, the mudslides, brings down trees, so quite often you're doing some nasty clambering over woody debris to get where you want. And it's not only wood, this is a trail as well, which because of the rainfall, the trail turned into the lake, or the lake just came up, and we had to wade through this lake to get to where we wanted. So forget about having dry feet when you're searching the trails. This is the norm. And this is another bridge, very precarious. It's about 1.5 meters deep. We ended up doing some gymnastics to get across that, only to get to the other side and find that the trail ran out. So we had to come back along it in a different contortion. And then sometimes you just get completely surprised by what's in the woods. This is up on Westwood Plateau. We were just running one day, got a little bit lost, stumbled across this log cabin which was in really good condition, and there was even a little flag there and a little garden. This is another place I stumbled across when I was out with my wife. A less conventional type of shelter. I don't know who was using this, and it looked a bit spooky. And I don't know if you can see, there might be a couple of eyes peering out from there. As you can see, I'm disappearing off into the background there. Just a little bit further along from there, we came across this. It's an old logging camp. And this particular truck here was in the first Rambo movie, First Blood, which was quite remarkable. If you go on the website, you can actually see this very truck in the midst of this logging camp. This is one of the more conventional trails, the DS Vistas. As a member of Search and Rescue, this is one of our most popular areas to pick lost hikers or injured hikers off. Again, there's some gnarly terrain up there which can trip the unwary, but great views, as you can see. If you don't fancy going to hard places to hike, this is actually a very easy hike at the top of Westwood Plateau. Go along a logging road to a place called Eagle Bluff, and you can look right out over Bunsen Lake, which is down there in the bottom, and out to Seymour and Mount Elsie in the background there. And if you want to go higher, there's some more challenging hikes. This is up high on Eagle Ridge. You can see Bunsen Lake down there in the bottom there, and Indian Arm in the background. And you're getting pretty high there, so you need to be pretty experienced to get up there. This is probably one of the hardest hikes in the Tri-Cities, the Dilly Dally Trail. This is actually coming down, so we're not even at the high point, but the views are just fantastic. You can see out there in the distance Bedwell Bay, down on Indian Arm. You need a good 10 hours or so to do that hike. And this is up at Burt Mountain where all the development's going, so you get above all the bulldozers, and there's some lovely places up in the alpine regions. This is the Munro Lake lookout, and you can see Munro Lake down there, and then you're looking out east towards Mount Baker. And this is where our drinking water comes from. There's another trail up Westwood Plateau called the East Bastion Trail, and you can look right down on where our drinking water comes from, and it's a fantastic sight. Stretches on for miles. And going back to the Dilly Dally, this is another viewpoint which I think is worth the hike. Right at the top end of Bunsen, you climb up and you can look up right to the end of Indian Arm and Croker Island, and if anyone's ever been up to Indian Arm, there's Granite Falls, and you can just see that in the corner there. So this is what I'm aiming for, my map. I've done all the trails pretty much, I've got all the data, I'm putting it together. There's a lot of work still to do with that, but hopefully in a month or so's time we'll have something out, and for the first time ever people in the Tri-Cities will be able to pick up a decent map and know where they're going. Thank you. So this is my wife Jackie. As you can see on the photo, she's telling me to stop the presentation now because she's had enough. And I know she's been there listening to this intently, counting every and ah. But basically, Jackie's my life, she's my love. She's been with me now for 17 years. Our life changed when I met her. She still keeps me on my toes. I can't imagine ever being without her. And just want to say, Jack, I love you.
Actually, Steve, before you get off, I have one question for you. So all of those trails that you showed, we can all hike them. They're not like sectioned off like Coquitlam Lake or anything, right? They're all trails we can do. Okay, I just wanted to confirm that because I haven't been up one of those trails. How many, Clap, have you been on any of those trails? Have you gone all the way up? Right on, you guys are awesome. Thanks, Steve.